Hey, this is Matt once again. Welcome back to another review of another 80s horror film as I continue my journey into horror films of the 80s. And now I'm talking about Schizoid, which has Klaus Kinski, who in real life I've heard it was a crazy person. Wasson, who I remember from Nightmare on Elm Street Part 3, Dream Warriors, as well as Body Double, the Brian De Palma film. Both very solid movies. Klaus Kinski I remember from this pretty decent sci-fi flick called Creature. You also have an early role by Christopher Lloyd. I mean, he doesn't have much to do, but it was kind of nice to see him and interesting to see him in an early role. This is actually a canon film group because it's produced by Golan and Globus. Because before they were doing action films, they were producing some of these low-budget horror films. And this is pretty much a slasher film, but man, this movie is boring as hell. Kind of want to sit back here because this movie's pretty damn boring. I know it's where I got the microphone covering my mouth, but I might as well because I'd rather take a cock in the mouth than watch the movie again. Not that there's anything wrong with that. For those, just saying. Not that there's anything wrong with that. Not always my prerogative, but anyway. See, this is what I'm talking about. Because I got nothing to say about this fucking flick. This boring ass shit. I'm talking about cocks and mouths, and this is like, I'd rather be sucking dick than talk about this fucking movie. Because at least there'd be more suspense. Do I spit? Do I swallow? Do I gurgle? Or do I shower? With spit and saliva and dribble and glibble and white creamy fun. The plot of this film, you have a bunch of female, you have group therapy led by Klaus Kinski, which that's your first problem. Klaus Kinski, who the hell is going to go to this guy as a therapist? Like, you look at Klaus Kinski, how he acts, how he talks, his whole demeanor, always says serial killer, and this is the guy you're going to go to for therapy? But anyway, he has this group of people in therapy. One is a columnist, played by Marianna Hill. One is Christopher Lloyd, who is a building maintenance guy. And there's a bunch of other women in there. One has a job where she needs to be topless. Wasson plays the ex-husband, or soon-to-be ex-husband of Marianna Hill. And he did not want a divorce, but she did because of group therapy. So Wasson is a bit mad about that. And then you have a killer that I swear in silhouette looks like the Shadow. I'm like, is the killer fucking Alec Baldwin? Is he going to talk about, is this killer going to talk about fear and what lurks in the hearts of men? I mean, the silhouette looks like the fucking Shadow. And he kills people with scissors. Early on, he chases a girl on a bike, stabs a girl in the stomach with scissors, and then they did a mistake because the girl gets killed in this garage, and the killer lowers it down, but before he lowers her down, you see enough light to get a silhouette of his face. And when you see the silhouette of his face, and then you start seeing the people, because it's supposed to be like a murder mystery, like, is it Klaus Kinski? Is it Klaus Kinski's daughter who's having some issues of her own? You don't know, there's one guy who has a similar face. And I'll spoil it for right now. So for those who don't want to, who want to see this film and don't want to be spoiled, warning. You find out it's Wasson. You found out Craig Wasson is killing these people in the therapy group because he didn't like that the therapy group was talking shit about him behind his back, which led to our lead wanting to divorce him. As much of a stupid fucking premise that is, that's the premise. The rest of the story is just really a boring much ado about nothing. That the only interest you get is, hey, Craig Wasson, I liked you in Elm Street 3 and Body Double. Hey, Christopher Lloyd. He has like a handful of scenes. Doesn't get killed at the end. He just in the building and lets the police into the building so the police can get there too late because everything's already done by the time the cops get there, of course. But okay, nice to see, Christopher Lloyd in early role, okay. I mean, really the only bit of the plot is like Klaus Kinski, yeah, he's a therapist, but he loves to have sex with his patients, including our lead. And they really try to make you think he's a killer to the point that I'm like, well, he's not the killer because you're trying so hard to make us think he's the killer. Because there's literally a scene, one subplot I forgot to mention is that one of the things that start this off is the lead columnist, Marianna Hill, she's getting these letters. And it's the type of letters where someone cuts like words from a magazine, puts them together, or gets words from a magazine, I should say, puts them together to make sentences. Kind of like what the Riddler would do in Batman Forever and on other movies. And she's trying to find out who's doing this, and she thinks, oh, whoever's doing this is the killer, but really they're two people. Because you come to find out that Klaus Kinski's daughter is sending the threatening letters because she doesn't like that this girl is fucking her father. I guess because she wants her father's attention. For a bit I'm like, does she want her father's dick in her mouth? I don't know. Sometimes it seems as if there's a sexual tension. Like, do you want your father's dick or do you just want your father to recognize you? But I think the movie's telling us that she just wants to be paid attention to by her father and not in a dick-loving way. See, this is what movies do to me when they bore me. My mind just goes on all sorts of weird, stupid tangents. And then that's where you get the finale where the Klaus Kinski's daughter gets the lead girl to meet her at the station. But then where the lead writes her columns. And then Craig Wasson's there. And then you find out Craig Wasson's the killer and tries to kill Klaus Kinski. And Klaus Kinski's daughter kills Craig Wasson to save her father and kills him with the scissors. I was saying before, like, they really try to make you think Klaus Kinski's a killer because there's a moment where after someone dies, Klaus Kinski comes in, he washes his hands as if, oh, is he washing out blood? Then he plays with a scissor on the table. Oh, wait, the killer uses scissors. He's playing with a scissor on the table. And he's looking at some cut-up words. Oh, like the note. I'm like, you're doing all this right after the other. Again. I'm like, either just tell us he's a killer or you're doing a shitty job of trying to make us think he is. I just, other note, there's two cops in the case. One of them is Joe Rigobuto. I recognize him. He was in Murphy Brown. I forget what character he played, but he's the guy who kind of has hair here, but is bald here. I forget his character's name, but it's like, I recognize that guy. He was from Murphy Brown, which when I was on the farm in Iowa, I used to watch that show at least a little bit on CBS back in the day. And this movie, what this movie is, it seems more interested in making red herrings than being entertaining. Because it's not entertaining. The kills, there's nothing to them. The body count. There's a girl that gets killed on the bike, stabbed in the stomach with the scissors. There's the topless lady who gets chased through the night, stabbed in the back by scissors when she's trying to climb a fence. You have one woman killed in a hot tub with scissors, which if you watch the trailer, you see one of those kills. Was that it? If there's more, I can't remember any. And again, there's nothing to the kills. You have a very low body count. Try to make Christopher Lloyd red herring, the daughter of Klaus Kinski, a red herring, Klaus Kinski himself, red herring, and you don't give a shit about anything other than some of the recognizable faces in the cast. There's really no reason one way or another to care about the characters. The story is like, huh? Okay, Trey Watts is the killer because of that. I guess, he's that pissed that he's not, he's that pissed that he's getting divorced. Which, I mean, when you look at real life, I guess is not that crazy. But still, it's like, I guess that's why it's called Schizoid. Which is a weird name for a movie. Might as well call Schizoid. Hey, Schizoid. Oh, it's Schizoid. I mean, it doesn't end on a downer note. Doesn't end on a sequel bait note. I said the daughter kills Trade Wasson to save her father, Klaus Kinski, and the cops get there. And Klaus Kinski has his daughter and the lead, who Klaus Kinski's had sex with. The music is one of those like Casio music. And kind of sounds like shit. I don't know what else to say about the film other than that. It's just boring, low body count, lame, lackadaisical story. Like I said, more interested in creating red herrings than creating an entertaining, let alone scary or frightening or suspenseful movie. So Schizoid is a piece of shitzoid. I will never see the film again. There's no reason to. If you like the film, I'd be very curious to know why. I'm not going to make fun of you. I'm not going to put any put downs on you. I'd be insanely curious as to why. If anyone likes the film, you let me know why. I just think there are so many other better slasher films out there. Of course, the classics, but also just, Intruder from 1989, The Final Terror, My Bloody Valentine. I mean, April Fool's Day. And no one even died in that movie, and that's a better slasher film than this. I mean, Murder by Phone, in a way, it's a slasher film. That's a much better film. There's a lot more going in other slasher films than this. So either way, thanks for watching. Take care. We will see you in another video where I talk about more 80s horror films later.